What's up, folks? What's happening? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Still Basement, aka the virtual Heinz Field. Yes, I'm live. Remember what I told you guys last week is I wouldn't be doing a live show because I would be traveling. Well, Miss Elsa has decided that she doesn't want us to travel today. If any of you guys are familiar with the storm that's going on, so there you have it. I'm still here, but we plan to still get on the road at some point this week. We don't know when. At this point, it is what it is. But hey, you know, when Mother Nature does her thing, we have to stop and abide by her, right? But anyway, man, let's get into the video, man. Let's do this quick and often. I don't know why I said that, but let's do this quick. Let's get started early and often, I guess I would say, and give the shout outs to those who are already in the chat. What's up to Steeler Nation, Rail Facts, Drama Seidel, Charlie Brown. Who else we got up in here? Nay Drews, my good buddy Ron Simpson in the building. Mr. Winningham, good evening to you as well, sir. In the green. Who else? We got C. Antoine Hill. What's up, brother? Brent Fox, Vista Light, Y Diggy, Lee. Is it Pate or Patty or Patty? Please explain to me how that's pronounced so I know how to say it correctly. Steve Williams, Zuami M, Mr. ABS. Who else we got up in here? Leon Harris Jr. Father-in-law Leonard is in the building. What's up, father-in-law? And my good brother Kenyon, of course, is in the building as well. So one more. Steel City Batman is in the building. So let's get to it. Patty. Okay. Thank you for that, Lee. So it's Patty. Now I got to lock that into my mind so I remember that. But thank you for the phonetic spelling there. But all right, guys, let's get into it, man. Let me get my notations here so I can remember what we're talking about. I pretty much know, but of course, man, you know, it's always good to look at your notes so you don't get off track. Of course, you guys already see the main topic of discussion tonight will be Devin Bush. You know, is he a concern? Should the Steelers be concerned about Devin Bush? We'll talk about it. We'll save him until last. But that'll be the meat and potatoes of the topics tonight. And, again, I say this all the time, but I don't think this show would be that long. I'm going to power through these topics, man, and then whatever we got left at the end, if we have phone calls, we do. If we don't, then, we'll cut it short. But other than that, man, we're going to talk a little bit about, they said Mike Tomlin, reportedly Mike Tomlin was heartbroken about the Steelers not being able to re-sign James Conner. So I'll spend a little bit of time with that. Biggest position concern as of today. I think I'm going to make that an ongoing thing until we, get through training camp, because that could change week to week, day to day even, especially once training camp happens and we're getting reports back, that could change. Right. And also it could change as we watch preseason. So it's going to be very interesting. And we're getting close. We're getting really close, man, to the first preseason game. If you think about it right now, we're just under 30 days to that first game. So that's going to be interesting. But I'll talk about my biggest position, and I'll say player, because it's, it is position. But in this case, it will be a player that I will be addressing. And then we'll talk about whether or not I think Malik Hooker will circle back to the Steelers. And that's a question that I have for you guys as well as if you guys are even concerned with that. Do you prefer it to be another player versus Malik Hooker? So that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about tonight. Let's see. Where do I want to start? Let's start with the Mike Tomlin, and the reports about James Conner. We can start right there. It shouldn't take me that long to get through that. Listen, I don't doubt that. Again, for you guys that don't know, it was reported. Reportedly Mike Tomlin was heartbroken at not being able to re-sign James Conner. Again, if it being a report, you have to take a couple things into consideration. Who's reporting it, number one, who the source is, number two, because a lot of times the reports come from a source. So that's twofold there, right? Who is the guy that's reporting it, as well as who is the source that gave it to the reporter, or, who was the source the reporter is technically getting it from. How do I feel about it? Do I think it's true? Probably. Again, they always talk about Tomlin being a player's coach. I think you could probably tell that Mike Tomlin has a great relationship with a lot of the players, and you can tell, kind of based off of certain guys' stories and things like that, he probably has a soft spot for certain guys. I think without saying, without me having to go in detail, we all know, what James Conner had to overcome, right, to even get to where he got. We all know that. So, of course, everybody's, not everybody, but, most people are going to have a soft spot because of his story. Of course, when he hit the field, as, he became a Pittsburgh Steeler, then fans, of course, fans, we're always going to judge the player based off of what he does, ability-wise, and what he does when he is able to play, as well as their availability. The best ability is availability, right? So that's always how we're going to judge players regardless of who they are. So I think James Conner is going to get a little bit of negative rap in that regard, and I'm not going to say it's not warranted. He's a guy that unfortunately couldn't stay healthy. So, as a fan, you have a right to say, man, let's look in a different direction, right? But I definitely would believe a report about Tomlin being, heartbroken that we couldn't sign James Conner. The only question I would have in that regard, though, if that was the case, do you think Mike Tomlin does Mike Tomlin still favor drafting a Najee Harris if James Conner was still there? That's a good question. It's very debatable. And I know some people would probably say, and I'm going to look in the chat and see what you guys say, but I think some people would probably say, well, maybe not, because, you're going to depend on him being your bell cow. Well, not necessarily, because, we continue to draft running backs even while James Conner was on the roster. Count them. Whether you want to say these guys are backup pieces or not, clearly James Conner wasn't the bell cow, because we continue to draft guys that could spell him and or take over if he was down. From Jalen Samuels way back when to Anthony McFarland, to you want to say the signing of Kalen Ballage, which at this point we probably knew that Conner wouldn't re-sign, but all the way up to Najee Harris. Like, we've continued to do that. And again, Najee Harris is kind of the asterisk, because the question is, do you think they still go Najee in the first round if Conner was re-signed? Nobody will ever know that. But I kind of think that it's possible we still grab a running back, maybe not in the first, but honestly, none of us will ever know how the team felt about James Conner in terms of availability, and we'll never know any of that. We can speculate. So that's a tricky question in that regard. I don't know if we still go first round. Maybe we do, and maybe we consider, Conner just still being a piece. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very possible that we still could have been looking to go after a Najee if he's there, and Conner would just be a piece, the same way Benny Snell is a piece. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. Let me see what you guys think. But I definitely believe that, I can believe that Mike Tomlin definitely said that about James Conner. Wouldn't surprise me, whatsoever. Steeler Nation 412 says Tomlin will be in love with Najee, but I'll miss Conner as well. Great, humble person and had amazing story. Yeah, man. And that's the thing about Conner, man. I really fought for him, just as a fan, man, because I really wanted him to do well, because to overcome what he overcame, come on, man. To be able to get drafted, to like your local team for the most part. I know he's from Erie. It's still local because it's within, Pennsylvania. He goes to school in Pittsburgh, and you get drafted by the Steelers. I mean, come on, it just don't work out better than that. And his story, I love that. But yeah, man, those type of things sucks. So let me see what else you guys got. Steelers Baby says no, Conner was injury prone. Okay, yeah, he was. Bill C 117 says, come on, Conner or Harris? I mean, come on. That's not the question, though. That's not the question, Bill. I'm just saying, if we would have re-signed him, what do you think the Steelers still would have drafted Najee? That's the question. The question isn't who do we prefer over the other. It's more so what would we have done if we are to believe that Tomlin was heartbroken that we couldn't re-sign him and preferred to re-sign him. That's what I'm asking. Let's see. I'll read a couple more of these and then I'll get back to the program. Mr. Winningham says, we still needed a stud running back even if we kept Conner. That's kind of where I'm at with it too, Mr. Winningham. I think it's very possible to believe that we might have still drafted Najee He's still that unique talent. We might have still done that even if Connor was re-signed, because you're not re-signing Connor. I guess you weren't going to give him the ginormous running back deal, right? So yeah, I think Connor would have been the Bell Connor situation. You know what I mean? I think it would have probably turned into something like that. And last one here, Kenyon says, no way if Connor doesn't get hurt, doesn't get injured, we draft Najee. Yeah, you might be right, Kenyon. I mean, if we're looking at it realistically, I think it was possible. But if we're being realistic, you might have a point there. Given the fact that this is the thing that I can't lose in my own thought process, given the holes that we have on the team, then that probably would lend more to saying if Connor was re-signed, then maybe we look elsewhere in the first round, even if Najee is there, because there were so many pieces that we were all looking for the Steelers to acquire. So if you think about it from that standpoint, then yeah, it's very possible that we would not have drafted Najee Harris. But good conversation there, man. Love when we can have a topic and I can throw it to you guys and chop it up a little bit there. Let's get to the next thing here. We'll go into the Malik Hooker talk. Do you guys think Malik Hooker will circle back to the Steelers? And then, of course, I'll throw it to you guys and read what you guys have to say. But do you guys think that the Steelers will actually sign Malik Hooker? We know that he visited. It's been a while now. And, obviously he's being patient because, according to him, there's other teams that he was able to visit with. The fact that he's not signed, it says either you're being patient and you want to pick and choose where you go, or the market isn't there. It's kind of similar to what I said about Steven Nelson, because I think last week I asked you guys, do you think that the Steven Nelson not being signed currently is all his choice, or is it more so the market? Could be the very same thing with Malik Hooker. Of course, with him coming off an injury, maybe the market isn't there. Maybe that's why he's poking his head around different teams to see not only what the best fit is, but where he might be able to maybe get the best money, but not even that. Let's say if the money market isn't there for him, he probably is literally saying, okay, which team would I settle for taking a lower amount, but is a better fit? So now if money is off the table, then maybe he is looking at the fit. Personally, I would love for us to sign him. I mean, there's other things that I would like to see us do as well, but one of the other positions would be cornerback. If we could talk about that really quick. I am still a little concerned, man. Listen, we got a lot of guys that we're thinking could possibly step up and fill the void. A lot of us are big on seeing what Shakur Brown can do. Some people are big on the Gilbert kid. Some people are saying maybe Justin Lane perks up, but again, that still would be more on the outside. Some people, even myself, are interested in seeing what James Pierre offers, and then that more than likely means that Cam Sutton slides inside in the nickel. But there's, and Trey Norwood, some people are saying that he can play both, and then Arthur Mollett. There's so many could. As none of these guys make us feel like this is definitely going to happen. And the reason why I bring that part to the table is because I wouldn't mind them if there's a cornerback out there, man, that is proven, got a little more experience. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind bringing a free agent cornerback, and I have not looked at the market, so honestly, I don't know who's out there. But if there's somebody else, man, that could be a better option for you, at least for this year, at least to get the season going while some of these other guys are maturing, I'm not opposed to that, because I definitely think, as much as we want to say it isn't, it's a big deal, man, that Steven Nelson is gone. There's no two ways about that. It's not. And I know we all just share our opinions, but that is my opinion, and an educated guess opinion. You know what I'm saying? An educated guess saying that if you take Steven Nelson off of that team along with Mike Hilton, that's a big deal. Because again, everything else that we're referring to is what ifs. We're saying, what if, James Pierre continues to elevate? What if, Cam Sutton can lock it down on the outside as well? We know he's been able to do a good job in the slot. We've seen him more so in the slot. Seen him a couple times outside, but we had never seen it for a full season. It's a lot of what ifs. again, I already mentioned that, the whether it's late round draft pick or, a free agent, UDFA, we don't know what these guys are going to be. So if there's another guy that's proven, that can at least be a better option than your rookies, I would not be opposed to that, because I definitely think our secondary is going to take a minor hit. But also edge rusher. I would like to, get a little more depth there, even though I think, obviously, we know what TJ Watt is. And I think, Highsmith is going to have another, he may take it to a different level this year. He'll have another bump up. I'm not going to expect him to be the greatest just yet. He's still progressing. But I think hopefully we see that progression continue to go this way, right? But then behind that, you got Roche, which we'll see. You got Cassius Marsh, which, no disrespect, I hope Cassius Marsh, man, maybe if you have to play, maybe on one of the post-game shows and on Terrible Towel Tuesday during the season, I'm eating crow. I would love that. But as it stands right now, I'm just not ecstatic that is our depth. We have to hope a guy like Roche can deliver, because we prefer it not to be Cassius Marsh. So I wouldn't mind us doing something there, And I don't think we're going to sign any of the older guys, man. Our history just doesn't show that we sign defensive players that's above 30. Doesn't really happen. So, your Ingrams of the world or your Justin Houstons of the world probably won't happen. But I'm not opposed to any of that at this point. But, I say all that to get back to this point. I do think that I would take Malik Hooker. Listen, if we can get back into a situation where we got 3 safeties on the field, which we tried, a couple years back, we tried to do it a little bit when Morgan Burnett was there. We all know how that turned out. And we tried it even when Cam Kelly was on the roster. So I'm not opposed to that. If that could be your additional defender versus just having another corner, I wouldn't be opposed to having Malik Hooker back there, bringing Terrell Edmonds in the box, or even mixing it up, bring Minka in the box sometimes. And you got your 3 safeties out there when you run like a big nickel type of set or sub packages. I'm not opposed to that at all. Let's do it. So at this point, any secondary piece that you want to bring that has some talent, I'm down for it. So we'll see. I think it's a possibility that he circles back to the Steelers. I just don't know. I don't know enough about him, but it's a possibility. I think they said he's from the area, not too far or something like that. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I think it is a good sign given the fact that he has not been signed yet. And let's not forget, it's a long shot, but you never know. Maybe Steven Nelson circles back. Long shot, but maybe he does. And I'm not opposed to that either. Again, given the fact that as it stands now, Mike Hilton is gone, Steven Nelson is gone. So please, let's add some veterans back to that secondary if we can. Because we all know we love Joe Hayden for the most part. Joe Hayden has done a great job when he's been with the Steelers so far. He's on the latter end of his career, not just with the Steelers, but his career. And we know there's been some times where Joe Hayden just ain't, your number one anymore. So we definitely need some more horses, man, in that situation. And who knows? It could be any of those guys. Marlette, any of those dudes. Brown, but we don't know. And that's kind of what scares me a little bit. What do you guys think, man? I went on rambled there for a little while. Y'all should have stopped me. Yeah, and I see somebody said something about Antoine Brooks. Yeah, we hearing about him playing in the slot. It's like, man, what do you guys think, man? Do you think Malik Hooker has a chance to circle back? Do you guys want him on the roster? I'll give you guys a few minutes, man. Kieran Bromsey says Hooker is versatile enough to play strong safety, free safety, and slot. Okay. All right. Not opposed to that. Somebody said bring Nelson back. Oh, is it Kieran or Kieran? And the reason why I asked is I have a cousin named Kieran, and I think it's spelled like that. But then he has a sister. Her name is Kiera, and it's spelled like yours, but the additional to create Kiera. So I don't want to assume that it's Kieran or Kieran. It could be Kieran. So please let me know if I'm saying that correctly. What else y'all got, man? Anybody else on Hooker? Leon Harris Jr. says, yes, Hooker will circle back because we know Edmonds is not coming back. Okay. Steeler Nation 412 says, I would like Hooker, but it's getting really late, so my hopes on him getting signed by us is a little low. Well, actually, that's the reason why I actually have higher hopes, is the fact that, because he hasn't been signed yet. That, to me, is a good sign. Ancient Ox says, Nelson isn't needed. He's average. Okay, I'm not going to challenge how you feel about him, but if we're saying that, then again, we don't know what these other guys have. So that kind of goes with the point of what do? Do you take your chances with those guys, or do you go back and get a guy that did play solid for you? Maybe he didn't have the greatest 2020. I don't think it was the worst 2020, but obviously his best season with us was 2019. So do you take a chance with a guy like that has been your starter the last couple of years alongside Joe Hayden, alongside Terrell Edmonds, alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick, where you kind of have your core four? Or do you take a chance with the new guy? Yeah, Kenya, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know a lot of people, again, and I'm not calling anybody out here. I'm not blaming anybody in the chat, but I'm just being honest. A lot of people that watch football is what I like to call highlight watchers. And what I mean by that is they only judge guys being good based off of highlights or stats, not necessarily watching what they do on a play-by-play basis or dissect film. I don't expect everybody to do that. But it makes me always think about that when I see people say Steven Nelson was trash. It always makes me think about highlight watchers because I'm like, dude, trash? No. Had a great season in 2019, had a decent season in 2020. Did he give up a couple passes? Yeah, sure. All corners do. But you can't just look at that and say, oh, they try. Because let me tell you something. No corner that you bring in is going to be shut down. Steven Nelson was as best as we could get in 2019 as being a shutdown corner. Would you guys agree with that? That was probably, if you remember, you could probably call him a shutdown corner in 2019, bro. And even the biggest pass that he gave up, even though it was a deep one, was to Odell in Cleveland, and he was still right there. But Odell just that's Odell. He made a great move to the inside, and it wasn't like he got blown out his shoes. He just got beat. But that season, the boy balled out. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that we have never, well, I'm not going to say never because we've had a few, but we're not accustomed to having shutdown corners for most of the Steeler years. Steven Nelson, you probably could put him in that category in 2019. That's all I'm saying. And again, 007. Again, I'm not trying to defend him, but what I always say when people point out things like that is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs has torched a lot of cornerbacks. And that's what I'm saying is, when do we get to a point where we acknowledge the other player, right? Let me give you all a perfect example. We had a guy on that team called Antonio Brown, AB. Toe Tap Tony, or whatever they called him. Tony Toe Tap, that's what it was. How many good cornerbacks did Antonio Brown beat? I'll wait. How many good cornerbacks did Antonio Brown give the business? One of them plays on our team. Joe Hayden couldn't do nothing with AB. I'm just saying. Juju Smith-Schuster in the same game worked both Bouye and Jalen Ramsey. Granted, it was like two passes on one on the other, but I'm just saying it's Stephon Diggs, bruh. Like, sometimes you got to give credit to the other player. Like, you can't because one player gets the best of a guy, you can't all of a sudden say he's a bum or no. It's just that's the NFL. Those are matchups. There's some elite elite receivers that you just can't cover. It just that's how it works. A lot of times when you try to single man these guys, it ain't too many corners that can shut them down. Am I right or wrong? You can't name 10 corners. 10. You probably can't name 10 that shuts down a number one receiver man to man in multiple times a game. It don't happen like that unless they are an elite cornerback. We're not talking about Steven Nelson as being an elite cornerback. I'm just saying he was probably our best shutdown corner in 2019. But that's all I'm saying. Like I said, I look at it differently, man. And again, I'm not knocking anybody's opinion. I'm just saying most of the time people say that when they say, oh man, but look at what so-and-so did to him. But I mean, are we acknowledging Stephon Diggs, how many yards he had last year? How many receptions? It was a whole lot of cornerbacks couldn't stop him. That's all I'm saying. He sure did. Why Diggy AB used to, I mean, I love Joe Hayden, but AB used to eat that boy lunch. Come on, man. It's just sometimes you have to give credit to the offensive player, bruh. But all right, let's get back to business, man. Listen, Ancient Ox and anybody else that feel that way, it's fine for us to disagree. If you guys think he got torched, then all right, fine. No biggie. No biggie. Oh, round of applause, man. We got a donation, guys. Shout outs to Shadow Slayer. I still don't know why it has that little text on my donation box. I got to fix that. Round of applause. He says, Sim, I'm back. Been working, haven't been watching the stream, and I finally got my PS5. So you right about the good it is. Did you discuss David DeCastro being cut, and what do you think about Trey Turner? Yeah, man, thank you for coming back, and I'm glad to hear that you've been doing well and working and things like that. Hey, man, work before play, right? I'm secondary when it comes to you guys' lives and livelihood. But yeah, I did discuss that last week. I'll give you a quick preview on that. Listen, the David DeCastro situation, once we learn about his injury and him having to get surgery, it's a business decision. I understand it. We'll have to keep our eyes out on the grievance. I think, if that was actually filed by his attorney to see how that works out. But it's business, man. It's a business decision. And in a year where the Steelers definitely want more cap, then, yeah, I get it. You wasn't really going to be any use to the Steelers this season. And as far as Trey Turner, TBD. We'll have to see. Trey Turner has had positive seasons. And here later on, he's had not so good seasons, shown some flashes. But then also, he was injured last year. But it's kind of one of those things. Maybe he was the next best available. And we got to do something at right guard, right? I do not believe that it had anything to do with all of the nonsense that was reported about Kevin Dotson. They don't even play on the same side. Why would Trey Turner, the signing of him or looking at him, why would that be an indictment on Dotson? Now, Dotson did play right guard in college, but still, we all know that he was going to play left guard if David DeCastro was there. So it wasn't like, again, looking at Trey Turner was an indictment on Dotson. And Dotson looks like he's in phenomenal shape for an offensive lineman. The boy looked brolic. He don't look like one of the blubber type of offensive lineman. He looked like just a big boy. So you could tell it was nonsense. But appreciate the donation, man. Thank you for coming through. And again, if you want to hear me go into a little more detail, you can check out last week's podcast when you get a chance. But all right, let's move right along, man. Dang, man. See that? I've been going longer than I expected. I told y'all, man. Every time I get y'all on here, man, I always say we ain't going to be that long. And here we've been going already for close to 30 minutes. Let's get to the next topic, and then we'll get to the last topic, and we'll answer some phone calls, and then we'll be out of here. So the next topic, biggest position concern as of today. I'm going to go with one position and one player. And I would love for you guys to do the same in the chat. Don't go all over the place and name all these different. No, I'm going to challenge you guys as well. And let's just see. And if you don't have one player, that's fine. But let's see if you guys can give me one position right now that is your biggest concern and who might be the player that is projected to be in that position. Mine, I may have given it away because it's easy to kind of guess who this is. It's left tackle. It is Chukwuma Okorafor. It's my biggest concern. Boy, I went back and looked at a little bit of film. I was going to bring that to you guys this week, but, I just didn't want to risk, the copyright stuff sometimes with Game Pass. And like I said, what I'm probably going to end up doing with that, we'll see how it goes during the season. That maybe we'll do a little test run in one of these videos. But I told you guys how I'm kind of might have to start getting around that. It may have to be a video where I turn off the ads and things like that and don't monetize it. And, maybe I don't want to force anybody to donate. But like I said, I might, one of the perks if you become a member of the channel will be that, stuff like that. But I still want to find a way that I can bring that footage to the mass audience, because I know you guys liked it during the season. But again, I'm always open and honest with you guys. I have a YouTube channel that I monetize on. And I prefer not to put up videos that I can't monetize. So we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, bruh, boy got pushed around quite often. And listen, I'm not down and out on him. Again, guys have bad games and things like that, but some of the stuff I saw where the lack of leverage and things of that nature is more concerning with him being on the left side, because now you're supposed to be the anchor for the blind side of your quarterback. So, you know what I mean? If he was getting pushed back a lot on the right side, and the right tackle is not really the money maker in terms of pass protection, what's going to happen on that left side? Wow. I'm concerned, man. I'm really concerned. Now, he has some good games as well. Listen, I'm not all the way down on him. He has some good games. If you go back and actually, I'm going to try to make that happen. I can't promise you guys when, because you guys know I'll be going out of town here shortly. And maybe while I'm out of town, maybe one of those streams will do it. But I am going to try to narrow down at least a game or two and find some good and then find some concern. Because I don't want to just pound on him and say he was horrible. But again, I'm not a highlight watcher. I watch the entire game and I watch positions and I look at certain things, how they look against a certain player, a certain move, leverage, technique, punch, things like that. Like, I'm looking at the details. So there are situations where Chooks had good blocking against good players. But then there's other things with different moves and different techniques, how the defense was lined up where he had a little bit of trouble and he got knocked off his leverage, quite often at times. And again, that's what I'm saying. Put him on the left side, and he's going to see more of that attack. So again, I'm not trying to throw him in the trash or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm concerned because some of the things that I see in his game. But number two, he hasn't played left tackle in the NFL. Yes, he played it in college, but he has not played it in the NFL. And just because you were successful on the right side, like some of the good games he had last year, does not mean he's going to be successful on the left side. So when I say concern, a lot of times, guys, I have to break this down because people will hear me give my opinion and then they run off with that like it's the gospel. Like, no. Understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Anytime I give an opinion, it's more thought out. It's not just me saying, oh, that guy. No, I'm saying specifically why the concern is there. The biggest concern is because he has not played left tackle in the NFL. That's number one. Number two is some technique stuff that I saw from him last year that is not going to hold up on the left side. And number three, kind of the same as number two, there's different things that you do when you're on the right side than you're going to have to do on the left side. So that's why I'm concerned. We'll see. That's not me saying that the guy is trash, because I don't do that. I can't accurately judge. And that's the thing. A lot of us have said, oh, well, he did great on this side, so I think or the reverse. Man, he was so bad last year. How is he going to? It's technically a different position. Similar, but different. Excuse me. So until I see that, I'm going to have concerns. What about you guys? Let me see. Is there anybody else that you guys are concerned with? One guy. Rajan, give me one guy. I'm with you on that too, but give me one guy, if you can. Why Dickey says left tackle Chukwuokorafor, but he might be better suited for. Yeah, you're right. He could be because that's where he played in college. My Ravens got Villanueva from the Steelers starting at right. Hey, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. Good luck with that. Right tackle might be better suited for him. Who knows? He might be the giant like Zach Banner. Left tackle wasn't really. Villanueva did good early on, but you can start seeing later on in his career that he started losing what made him great at left tackle. Let me see what else y'all got. Anybody else? No? All right, we'll move on to the next one. Aha. Lee Patey says, concerned with Big Ben. Yeah. Okay. Respectful. Alex Jr. says Edmonds. Okay. All right, Micah, it's cool that you're here, but respectfully, we don't want to just hear about the Ravens. I don't hate the Ravens, but come on, man. Leave people alone. They're in here listening to Steelers stuff. Well, we don't want to go back and forth in the chat about the Ravens. And all due respect to the Ravens, but come on, man. I always say this. You never see me at a Ravens podcast. To me, that's just it's crazy. And again, if you guys come to see me because you respect me, great. Thank you. But it's always funny to me. And I'm not saying, Micah, you're doing this, but it's always funny to me when you get those guys that come in and they just trash talk. I'm like, what? Why? Why are you concerned? That's crazy. I don't know. Hey, Miss Lanisha, how you doing this evening? Never late. You're always on time, even if you're late, if you get it. But all right, let's move on to the main topic, man, and then I swear we'll get to the phone calls and then we'll get up out of here. Devin Bush. Question for you guys. Are the Steelers, or should the Steelers be concerned about Devin Bush and his recent antics on Twitter, TikTok, and whatever else? Let's approach it like this. Again, I always talk about the highlight football watchers, right? Well, I think you could use that same analogy with people who watch headlines. I'm not a headline watcher. I'll see a headline and it might make me open my eyes a little bit like, whoa. But then I dive deeper and get more perspective, right? So we all know we saw the tweet, and maybe you guys didn't, but you saw the tweet about Devin Bush saying, basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, he basically said, if you're a grown man and you got TikTok on your phone, then stay the F away from me. I'm not going to say the word, but y'all know what the F is, right? So I immediately was like, I sent it to Kenyon and Tony. I said, hey, man, if I'm not mistaken, Juju is a grown man, isn't he? And, kind of laughing. Because immediately I was like, whoa, okay, this could be how he feels. Fine. But it immediately made me think about Juju and others, the Claypools of the world and others on the team. A lot of these dudes, think about it. Even if you don't see them post, I'm sure a good majority of that team, I'd be willing to say 40% of that team has TikTok. TikTok is one of those apps now Now, I don't really watch TikTok, and Leonard is in here. He knows I always laugh and joke with my wife. She watches it for entertainment, and it's funny, and she laughs at it. But I don't really watch it because one thing I don't like about it, let me just say a quick aside. What I hate about TikTok, right, from what I hear when she's watching, is the trends. So everybody, it's like this dance that happened. Now everybody's doing it. Or it's this joke that happened. Now and it'll be like 300 videos of the same joke, just everybody's rendition of it. I hate stuff like that. So it would never entertain me. But however, there's some times when we'll be laying down, not really sleep. We just chilling in the bed and stuff, and she'll watch it and she'll be like, look, this is funny. There's some stuff on there that's funny. I like the comic stuff. I like the comedic things, but I just don't like those trends, the challenges and all that. I'm just not into that. Because every time it's one of them challenges, it's 1,000 of them. And I'm like, come on, man. How many times I'm going to hear this song? So that's why I don't really prefer it. But in this generation, given the makeup of our team, I'm willing to bet at least 40% of them have TikTok on their phone. So my initial thought was, why would you say that? Everything don't got to be shared publicly. But I blew it off because supposedly, they talk to each other and it was kind of like, oh man, he ain't talking about us, blah, blah, blah. They made up, kiss, whatever. And then apparently there were some other things that he said, but the thing that got the most attention was this cat video, right? And this is where I say, I'm not a headline watcher. I see the headline and then I investigate. People would make you think the way it's being reported that Devin Bush did something personally to a cat. Because that's the way I was like, well, what did he do? Because that's how it's being reported. Come to find out, now, why he did it, I don't know. But come to find out, there's a video of some people trying to rescue a cat, and the cat falls, like however far, I don't know how far it was, and I don't know, some people are saying that the cat died, some people are saying that the cat didn't die, but apparently the video is old. Like somebody said, listen, I don't know if these are facts, so don't quote me here, but I heard somebody say the video was like 4 or 5 years ago, and Devin Bush retweeted it laughing at it. First of all, let me comment on that. Maybe he's a guy with a sick sense of humor. So what? I know people that laugh at stuff they shouldn't laugh at. Do I agree with them? No. But some people are different. Some people have twisted sense of humor. Let me bring this back to make it relevant to him as well. This is the same guy, let's not forget, even though he was young, this is the same guy that tore up the logo for Michigan State. Do y'all remember that? Showing his aggression. And again, people wanted to kill him for that. But I was like, hey, man, maybe he's just one of those dudes. It don't mean that he's a bad person. I don't know. I don't know him personally. But why are we surprised that somebody who did that might have a twisted sense of humor? You see what I'm saying? But again, the media made it seem as if he did something personally to this cat. Now, let me address Devin Bush. I would call you into the office, but it ain't time for that yet because you guys not even in the building yet. So I can't call you in the office, but you might have an office visit coming. So I'm going to send you a letter and let you know that, on your calendar, there's a pending office visit, depending on how you conduct yourself going forward. Devin Bush, why did you do that? Listen, sir, this is what I would say to you and anybody else that is in the public light, even me, as this YouTuber, not even a ginormous YouTuber at that. But some people view me as a public figure, because you guys watch me. I even got to be mindful of the kind of stuff I present to the world. Not that I'm not going to be myself. I'm always me. I ain't scared to be me. I'm unapologetically me. But at the end of the day, I got to be responsible for what I put out there. So if I know good and well that I have teammates, excuse me, and maybe even coaching staff, who knows? Coaches, grown kids, because some of these coaches probably got grown kids, meaning that they're an adult, 18, 19, 20, whatever. Why would you say that? Knowing the ripple effect that it's going to have. That's my beef with these players, man. That's my beef. You know what that's going to do. Why do it? Why? Some people might say, well, he didn't think that far. Maybe not, but you got to be responsible. TikTok, bruh, the same TikTok that your teammate, one of the most recognized faces and personalities on the team now, is synonymous with TikTok, has a deal with TikTok, Corvette, and all that. Some people are saying that's why we lost, because he was Corvetting, dancing on logos and whatever. And you gonna say that? You come on, bruh. You have to use this. Ironically, I have a hat on. My dad used to always say, use your head for something other than a hat rack. That's what he used to tell me growing up. Come on, Devin Bush. What's up with that? And as far as the other stuff that he's doing, semi-concerned. And here's the reason why if you're the Steelers. We've been through this. That's the only reason why I would say semi-concerning. And, you raise your eyebrow. It was cool to see Zach Banner say, look, man, when he get back to the 412, I'm confiscating his phone. I like to see that leadership. But the only reason why, as the Steeler organization, you are a wee bit concerned is because you've been down this road with social media and some of your star athletes. Don't be posting to Facebook. Meanwhile, AB posting to Facebook while Tomlin is talking. Le'Veon Bell commenting back to, fans and stuff. It's unwarranted attention. And again, I don't want these guys to be prisoners of the game. I'm just saying you have to think, sir. Think. And speaking of Le'Veon Bell as an aside, let me take a sip of water before I go into that. Just as an aside, that boy Le'Veon Bell out there balling, ain't he? I ain't talk about football. That boy is, yeah, man. I don't like talking about dudes' personal business, but I ain't gonna go all the way into it. It's just funny, man. The mindset of some of these cats, man, and only some of you dudes will understand what I'm about to say. And excuse me for a moment, ladies. When you have reached a certain stature in your life, right? Whether it be financially or whatever. This ain't no disrespect to the IG models. I just don't understand why some of these dudes are still doing that. Hear me for a second. I'm gonna stay on this for 2 seconds, and this is a life lesson for some of you younger cats. The IG model is like, I don't understand. No disrespect to those lovely ladies and women. They look nice and all. I get it, but honestly, it's like, let's be honest. A lot of them IG models, it's almost like when you used to go in the barbershop and they had that chart and you could pick what haircut you want. That's almost what some of these young ladies are doing these days with surgeries and stuff. I'm just being honest. Y'all know sometimes I throw life into this show. It's like it's all the same. Like, why are you wasting your time there and having babies and all of that? I don't get it. But hey, who am I to judge? It's just crazy to see dudes that got plenty of money still behave like a like a lame. You know what I'm saying? And again, only the real ones watching this will get what I'm saying. You supposed to be in different circles, homie. But it's all good. Like I said, no disrespect to the IG models, man. But y'all know what I'm saying. Yeah, let's get back to it, man. I think that's all I got, man. Let's get back to it. It baffles me, man. It baffles me. I was even talking about that with my wife, and I'm like, yo, it's like, I get it. Some of these dudes are young, but not when you almost 30. Like, come on, man. Like, you supposed to be in the upper echelon, right? And again, no disrespect, IG models. If y'all see this, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying it seemed like these dudes always get themselves caught up and in trouble with the basic of the basic. Like, that's so easy. That's so easy to obtain an IG model. Whatever, man. Let's get to the phone calls, man. Let's get to the phone call. My bad, guys. I veered off a little bit, man, but it's just, I don't know. It's sometimes I take these things a little personally, and some of you guys know why, but I'm not going to bore y'all with that. Let's get to the phone calls, man. First up, area code 803. That is our good buddy, Mr. Winningham. How you doing tonight, sir? What you got for us?
Good evening. I hope everybody have a safe and enjoyable 4th of July this past week. To start off, left tackle is a main concern, also a backup outside linebacker. But left tackle, I think the only game I remember a core for Chooks playing in at left tackle was the Denver game, the one where I may be wrong now, the one where Juju caught one of his 97-yard touchdowns. I may be wrong, but I remember him. That was the first time seeing him in one of our games. I thought he was at left, but I might be wrong. We do need somebody to come in at left tackle, but the only available free agents are in their 30s, unless we rent a guy like Russell Okung or the kid that played with the Washington football team this past season. The main thing I had a main concern last year with Villanueva was his lack of bending. He couldn't bend down anymore. He couldn't bend down the run block. He was standing straight up on his blocking last year, and that was one of the main concerns that we played against a lot of good pass rushers last year. Social media, you gotta use your thinking cap. Only thing you saying, don't use your head except for a hat rack, but we used to say, put on your thinking cap. Look, old as I am, I'm on, I look at TikTok, I think it's funny.
Yeah,
but
funny.
It's much like Instagram. Those people put themselves out there to showcase themselves. I don't want to speak about the ladies like that, so I'm going to leave that off. But that's about it for this week. I hope everybody have a great week.
Yes, sir, Mr. Winningham. I appreciate you coming through. Oh, my bad, guys. I hit mute. What I said was I wanted to thank Mr. Winningham for coming through. Always appreciate his wisdom. Hold on, let me turn this up. And like you said, it's not about speaking about the ladies, man. I think some of you guys know where I was going with it. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's crazy with some of these dudes. But yeah, like he said, he expressed to us he's an older gentleman and he watches TikTok. So what? You gonna tell Mr. Winningham to get away from you because he's a grown man? Like, see, I just don't. Devin Bush, I just didn't like that comment, man. I just didn't like that comment. There's nothing wrong with watching social media platforms. Like I said, I've seen some TikTok stuff that was hilarious. We've even seen some home things that you can do. Like, it's okay. I just don't understand him saying that, knowing that, fam, come on. Your teammates got TikTok, bruh. And like Mr. Winningham said, man, everything he said about the offensive line, absolutely. Absolutely agree. That old line, man, it's going to tell us a lot, man, and we'll see what happens. So let's move on to the next call. Who we got here? Area code 651. What you got for us?
What's up, Steve?
Nothing much. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. But I'm going to just say it. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell corny for doing what he do. You already got jacked for 2 of them. Like, when you going to learn the lesson, bro? Like,
thank you. See, I knew somebody was going to catch on to what I was saying. I knew it.
Yeah, like if he had the money, they look his way, and he could actually, because he athlete, he could do that, but it's like the people you chasing is basically Barbie dolls. Like they built them, so I don't see the point. But outside of that, I was saying a while back, I think Antoine Brooks Jr. will probably take that slot spot just because he gives us a lot of what Hilton did, being able to play in that box, tackling on the edge and blitzing. He's comfortable there, and he's dead. I think they said 210 right now. That's a pretty nice size slot man. Other thing was, I'm worried about left tackle. I don't know. I mean, Chooks was on skates a lot of the time last year. He might not have given up the sack, but boy, they were breathing on Ben, and he didn't. He's on skates a lot, so that's kind of rough there. Dawson. The other thing I want to say about Dawson, man, go back and look at him against Fletcher Cox, Hargrave, and DeForest Buckner, bruh. He's a certified dog, man. Like, he's going to be a Pro Bowler for his own. I don't know how far he's going to get, but he's a dog. To come in those games, I think those people were hurt those games. He stepped in. I know he didn't practice for it, and he went in there and gave them all they could handle, like each one of them. So I'm excited about that, but that's all I got, man.
Man, appreciate your call. And yeah, man, we got to keep our eyes on that boy Dawson, man. Again, if that dude is out of shape, I'm just, laughing at the report. I don't know what you got to do to get in shape. I mean, I'm just saying, fellas, if y'all haven't seen him, he's a big man. But go look at his arms, bro. Out of shape dudes is that size don't have no arm definition like that. The boy looked brolic. So I don't know what they talking about, but yeah, man, I'm agreeing with you right there. Like I said, I try to keep these responses short because I know I could go on for days. So I try to pick one thing that you guys talk about, and and just to clear it up, like what you said. I thank you for saying that. That's what I was alluding to with the Bell thing. It's just, come on, man. But anyway, and also Drip, man. I don't know if you saw it. The phone number is on the screen now. It is on the screen now. My bad. I forgot I had taken that canvas down, but it is on the screen now. So in case you guys need it, I'll read it as well. 619-924-0818. And whoa, looks like we got a new member to the channel, man. Shout outs and round of applause to Alex Jr. Appreciate that wholeheartedly, man. Again, in case you guys don't know, let me just take a second to mention what that's all about. I've turned on the channel membership option. What it will basically do for you guys, there will be custom content coming. Definitely there will be the opportunity to watch streams in every video that I post. So actually, Alex, if you can let me know how that's working, I will go back in and I will re-upload a lot of those videos where you'll be able to watch them without any ads, right? Because what I want to create is an opportunity for people to watch content if you're not here live where there's no ads, okay? But also, there will be custom content and there will be things that I will be featuring as if you're a member, which it might end up having to be Game Pass stuff. So we'll see. But thank you for that, man. I know it's just getting off the ground, so just give me some time, but I promise you there's going to be a lot of things that I'll be offering to those of you that are actually members as well. Next up, area code 678 from the ATL. What you got for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call there, Shell.
Yes, sir.
My number one concern is backup quarterback. I also have a little concern with depth at outside linebacker just because, I don't know right now, what Roche and Marsh going to bring to the table. I feel as though Highsmith going to do just fine, but I need to know what's going on at backup. As far as I'm definitely in agreement with you. I do not want to go back to the days where reporters are asking Tomlin about behavior.
Yeah.
I don't want that at all. We just need to keep it football. Let's just keep it football, And then the last thing, and then I'm out. For all those Steeler fans, that every once in a while, you guys be crying about this and that. Just think if you was just an Atlanta fan, period. I mean, these guys got it rough, boy.
Yeah,
Since I've been a child, I grew up with these guys, man, and I feel sorry for them, man. They can't get over. since I've been here. I mean, I got here, I told you before, Sim, January 1st, 1979. As soon as I get here, Danny White is breaking their heart. I done seen Danny White break their heart. I done seen Dan Marino break their heart. I mean, it don't matter either. Whether it be the Georgia Bulldogs, Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Braves, when they had a hockey team, it don't matter, man, except for the little soccer squad. You know, just be thankful sometimes because it could be worse.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking my call, Phil.
No doubt, man. Thank you for calling, man. And yeah, I do feel for Atlanta. And shout outs to Atlanta, man. The Hawks, you know, they took my boys out. Young team. I think they're going to be okay, though. You know, the Hawks has now made some noise. And, you know, maybe they be one of the teams that will get a championship for them here in the near future. But one thing I will comment on what you said, you know, picking one topic. And I appreciate you for saying this because I was going to say it and I was like, nope, let me fall back. But when somebody else says it, Tomlin, I already know what's going to happen. It's probably already happening. Tomlin don't have a control over his team yet because Devin Bush. I'm not hearing any of that, man. We've seen players wild out at other teams and ever since we've been watching football. But I know it's coming. And just like you said, I do not want to go through another season where Tomlin is being asked about the behavior of players on social media. Come on, guys, get it together. And this is my message to all of the team. Y'all stop doing that. These are isolated incidents. This ain't got nothing to do with the coaching staff. But come on, man. Come on, Devin Bush, man. We love you when you was playing for us. We was happy when we went up and got you. We hoping you're gonna rehab, right? But don't start off like this, brother. Not a good look, man. That's all I'm saying. Be young, have your fun, but just use your head, bruh. That was not a good tweet. As far as the cat thing, I'm not going to get on him about that. Like I said, maybe he has a twisted sense of humor. But all right, I'll move on. We have one more caller, which is 443. I believe that's our guy, Drip. I see another call in the queue, man. It's all ones. And if that's you, whoever that is I'm talking about, if you know that it shows up that way, you can say who you are in the chat, but I'm not going to answer it at this moment. The last time I did that, it was a crazy, crazy situation. So I'm not answering a number like that unless I know who's calling. I don't know why it's showing up on ones, but like I said, the last time I did it, it was a wild call. And that was on another podcast that I do using the same software. But anyway, area code 443. What you got for us?
What's up, Sam? So I did a lot of digging on this Devin Bush Twitter thing, right? And it's just, I'm not saying he's completely hacked, but I think after, it could have been included in the TikTok tweet, but after, it's just not like him. So
right,
I did a lot of digging. So if you look at the emojis this person is using, he said respect on a real one. So first of all, the first red alarm was, he said, cash at me money, put a cash app and I'll delete my Twitter. I don't know if Devin Bush is putting that, but
and it was like $20 or something too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and someone sent some money. He quote tweeted it saying respect, and in that respect tweet, he put the fist, like the like respect fist, but it's yellow. And if you scroll down to his profiles, older, he never uses that yellow one. He always uses the black one, like because we black. He always uses the black one. He never uses that one. And then two, if you look at his likes, Devin Bush, what was that?
That's interesting what you said there.
Also, Devin Bush was always very selective with his likes. If you look through, it's very far and few between. Because this past week, there's been a lot of likes, but a lot of miscellaneous stuff. I'm not saying he's completely hacked. That's just my personal theory. This don't look like him. And also him quote tweeting a video from 2015. Like, none of this just makes sense.
It's just weird.
I don't know. Maybe it's very weird. Maybe he's just sitting around. He's bored, whatever. But I don't know. And also to address what that caller said before me about the backup edge thing. Keith Butler said many times, like his post-draft interviews, his interviews at camp, he said we're not done in free agency. He said he really wants to address the outside linebacker 3 spot, and they tried to get Ryan Kerrigan. Obviously, he went to Philly, I think it was. So I think they'll dabble at edge number 3 again. And the last thing I'm gonna say is with Tomlin, the whole Tomlin locker room thing. Look, I don't like to make stuff a race issue, right? But it feels like with Mike Tomlin, for whatever reason, it seems like it's always a question of, he can't control his locker. It feels like I just feel like with Mike Tomlin, I feel like he's held to a standard that maybe his other counterparts aren't held to when it comes to control of the locker room, and he's running a circus and all this stuff. I just hope that when people say that, it's motivated by just how they feel. I hope there's no other outlying reasons why people either want Tomlin fired for whatever reason, or they want Tomlin just kicked for whatever reason. Because like somebody else said, it could be way worse. I just hope that all Tomlin criticism got nothing to do with the color of his skin. I'm going to just say that, and thank you for taking my call.
Man, thank you for calling, and that right there is an excellent point, and I will just echo what he just said. I hope that the criticism of Mike Tomlin is just because of how you feel about Mike Tomlin as a football coach, has nothing to do with anything else. We know the world we live in, so it's unrealistic to think that that's the case with everybody. But that's a great point. But what he also said about Devin Bush, listen, there is that possibility as well. And man, great work. Great work, Drip, to investigate it that deep. And it could be things that simple, guys, when you really are investigating people's behavior. It could be that simple, where you notice an emoji change or a retweet of content or subject matter that guys don't normally talk about. It's possible. Could be hacked. However, that first tweet, the TikTok thing, I think it was real. That seemed to be real. But we don't know. But it seemed like it was real because of the conversation that we kind of saw from Claypool and guys like that. So with everything else aside, I will just say that right there, I don't understand that particular tweet and the wording of that tweet. So, we'll leave it at that. But all right, guys, let's get to the comments, man. Let me shut down the phone queue. I'll keep it open in case somebody's listening that way. Let's get to the chats, man, and see what you guys have. We'll stay here for a few minutes. Steelers Freak said, Devin Bush, he on the blunt. I like that. Let's see what else. You guys will talk about the finals. I want the Suns to win, man. I definitely want Chris Paul to get him a chip. He's been a great pro, so I would love to see him get a championship since they're in it. Alex Jr. says, I agree with the caller that the outside linebacker may need it to be addressed. Roche going to be a dog, but we're asking a lot of him to be the number 3 from jump. Yeah. But I love to see him be that guy early. It would be great. And speaking of early, a lot of conversation has come out. Kenyon even sent me an article, where, people were saying that Highsmith will develop or could develop faster than Dupree. Hopefully. We've both said it on this show that we think Highsmith has more of the natural pass rush ability and skills and even plan. So I hope he does progress faster than what we saw out of Bud Dupree. So I think that's definitely a very good possibility. Sippy Boy says, honestly, you want your middle linebacker to be a little crazy or hated. I don't disagree. That's what I'm saying. As far as the cat stuff, if that was him and he wasn't hacked, listen, man, if the dude got twisted humor, who cares? If that translates into his mean streak on the field, great. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I may not have wanted him to do that if I was his coach or the team or school that he represented. But when he tore up that logo, when he did what he did to that Michigan State logo, I felt him as a player like, oh, that's what's up. Not saying it is the best thing to do. Not even saying I would have did that. But I appreciated it as a player like, oh, he going for it. To me, that was the equivalent, maybe not the same equivalent, but it was almost the same as Terrell Owens running out to the Star and, doing the thing he did at the Dallas Star when he was with San Fran. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that level of crazy on the football field. When that man went out there and was kicking up the logo, I said, oh, this boy about it. I ain't mad at that. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100% about wanting them guys a little twisted. What else y'all got? Still a Nation says what? Somebody was agreeing with him. Said baseball sucks. He says NFL, UFC, NBA are my top 3. Okay, y'all talking about your sports. Y'all know mine. How many of y'all? Let me do a pop quiz really quick for you guys that have been following me for a while. Y'all know football is my main thing. What's my number 2? Let me see who knows that. Real Fact says Bush situation was more funny for me, but to be honest, I like the edge that Bush has. Yeah, we saw this at Michigan State with the logo stomping. He's passionate leader. Yeah, man. I ain't mad at that. No, don't say or. You can't say or. You got to say what's my number 2. A lot of y'all know. There it is, boxing. Y'all know it. How about that boy Tank? Y'all saw that fight? That boy Tank, boy. Javonte Davis is a problem. C. Antoine Hill says Devin Bush is a black Lambert. Okay. I understand where you're going with the comparison, but I'll be fair and fall back and saying I've only been a highlight watcher of Lambert. I know what he is and who he is to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I couldn't rightfully compare them. But I think I know where you're going with it, though. Let's see. Kenya says the better question is what is his number 2? I think I know the answer to that. It might trick some of y'all. I'm going to throw it out there, Kenyon. I think I got the right answer here. I think football is actually your number 2. Basketball is your number 1. Let me see how good my memory is on that. What else y'all got? Y'all said Conor McGregor needs this win on Saturday. Yeah, I'm going to be checking out that fight. Look at Kenya. I knew it. Most of y'all wouldn't believe that, right? How hard he go on football. But if you guys have been paying attention, y'all know Kenyon said he actually played basketball. So, he said several times that that's really his thing. Let's see. Steelers Freak says, when you are the coach that has only won 3 playoffs. Oh, that spelling of 1 threw me off there, Steelers Freak. I'm not saying you got to be an English major or nothing, but that threw me off a little bit. He says, when you've only won 3 playoffs in 10 years, you better expect to take shots regardless of being at fault or not. Many fans are getting impatient. Take fault for what, though? Explain that a little bit for me, Steelers Freak. Are we still talking about him taking blame and taking fault for the players' social media? Because that's what we was talking about. And if that's what you're saying, I disagree with that. If we're going to say that Coach Tomlin and staff are at fault for us not winning the Super Bowl, yeah, obviously. We have to point the finger right at them. You're right. Only 3 playoffs wins in the last 10 years. I understand Tomlin did get us a Super Bowl ring. Some people have their disagreement with that because it was Cowher's team, whatever. He won it. Cowher only won 1 as well. I love them both. But if we're talking about him being at fault for the social media antics of his players, I totally disagree with that. That's a personal decision. What else y'all got? Russ says, I am football and basketball to agree with Bush being Lambert. Was a big fan back then. Okay. He got his teeth, though. What else y'all got? Give me a few more, man, then I'll get up out of cheer. Yeah, that boy Tank is special, man. Tank is special. I like that boy Earl Spence too, man. That's my dude right there. I love Terrence Crawford. There's a lot of boxers that I like, man. Some people might not even know some of these guys, but I like technicians, man. Even like dudes like Guillermo Rigondeaux, you know, when he was doing his thing. That dude is a technician. You know, the way that boy, his counter game was. And again, some people would watch Rigondeaux fight and think, you know, oh, this is boring, but y'all won't watching boxing. Y'all was looking for a fight, right? It's the same reason. I've said this analogy plenty of times. The same reason why a lot of people think the Mickey Ward and the Arturo Gatti fights were great fights. No, they won't. They were great. Yeah, great fights. Wasn't great boxing. Was not great boxing. Nah, I don't play Fight Night, man. Y'all think I'm a Madden critic. Oh, boy, I was a huge critic of Fight Night, which is the reason why I'm high on this new ESBC game that's looking like it could be very promising. I think that's about it. Let me see what else y'all got. Russ says, Tomlin is a great coach. I get so pissed when people down him, and I feel it's race-related. It could be, you know, but, you know, I'm gonna step away from that in this particular chat because, again, like I said, we're all family. So I'm not going to blame any of you guys for that. And if you are, then, you know, that's your issue. But I do think the fans, we have grown impatient. I will definitely agree with that. And it's fair. Again, let's not forget, and then I'm going to read this comment here as well from William Brown. Looks like an interesting one. I think it's fair because, listen, guys, y'all saw at 6 years, 5, however many years ago that was, we got to the AFC Championship game, man. AFC Championship game, and we got demolished. Chris Hogan. That name will always bother me. Chris Hogan was torching that secondary. We then go to the playoffs, man. We 13-3. Realistically, we 14-2 because Jesse caught it. We get when the last time we had seen the Steelers get a bye, and we lose in our first round, not the first round, but our first round of the playoffs. It hurts. So we are all impatient because we are that team. Shout outs to the homie Antoine Hill. Read his comment here and to interrupt myself. He says, round of applause. He says, Lambert as in personality. Dude was sick. Laugh out loud. I wasn't born back then, but I checked out the interviews. Yeah, I knew what you were saying. I was just saying, I don't know. I probably haven't watched as much of Lambert, even interview-wise, but of course I know what he represents. But back to what I was saying, man, it's been a long time, man. You know, we were the team that got 6 chips, and, you know, Brady has caught and passed us himself, so it hurts. You know, because we're one of the premier teams that's fortunate to have had 6 Super Bowls. Again, same reason why I will always love Ben Roethlisberger, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin, because they allowed me to see championships with my own eyes, right? I didn't see those 70s. That's before my era. I didn't see them games. So I can understand us being impatient. And then when you start doing the statistics and saying how many playoff games you won versus, I get it. I get all of that. You know, I never will blame somebody for looking at that aspect and saying this is where I've grown impatient. My only pushback to that always is, well, at least, you know, this coach always got us in the hunt for the most part. We start trying to bring other coaches in, and what if it doesn't go the direction you want it to? What if that coach can't do it as well as, you know what I'm saying? You just never know when you try to, and that's where it's significant when people say a coach hasn't had a losing season or he has a winning percentage, because from a organization standpoint, you want a team that at least is always in the running, because that generates revenue. Even if you don't get the Super Bowl, you know, you go away from a culture that you've built and bring in a new guy, and then the culture goes downhill. You see what I'm saying? So I think from a business standpoint, that's why that does mean something when you hear people say, hey, man, so-and-so has a super high winning percentage, or he's never had a losing record. That means something from a business standpoint. Always keep that in mind. Let me get back to William Brown really quick. He says, think about the criticisms and hatred of then President Obama and the love and support for President Trump. Bush will be fine if he's healthy. Okay, William, I know where you're going with that one. Like I said, I don't want to turn it into that so much here on this show because we're all family, whatever your race or creed. But again, I always keep it real. We understand the world that we live in. We all have seen it with our own eyes. And unfortunately, that probably adds to some of it. But, definitely there's some fair criticisms of Mike Tomlin, no question. Kenyon says Tomlin is a great coach. If you have a legit criticism of him, then you must also put Ben, AB, Wallace, Bell, KB, and everyone else, because this is about the one thing, the only disease that permeates our society. Yeah. Won't get an argument from me on that, Kenyon. Spoken very well there, sir. I fully agree with that. All right, a couple more, guys, then I'm out of here. The one thing people fail to mention when it comes to our playoff struggles is the fact that we never had our killer bees on the field together because of injury. It was always in the playoffs. Valid point. Even though I will still say, man, boy, it just hurts you when you look at that killer bee era to think that we couldn't come away with one. And I know that's spoiled, right, to think that we supposed to get one, but you supposed to get one when you putting up them type of numbers, dog. You got Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Montavis Bryant, and Big Ben Roethlisberger. Come on, man. All you need is a little bit of defense. It pains me, man. Alex Jr. says, I'm grateful to be a Steelers fan. 4 Super Bowl appearances in my lifetime, 2 wins. Lots of fans don't get to experience that. Facts. Let's read one that I haven't read so far. Roger Hayes, he says, will Haskins be the backup for the Steelers? We need a good backup in case Roethlisberger gets hurt. What do you think about that? I'm not sure yet. Let's see how Haskins looks in preseason. I know that's a cop-out answer, but it's not, because with Canada now being the guy, I'm curious to see how he utilizes and what plans he had for each guy. Backup quarterback, Anthony McFarland, guys like that. So let's reserve our judgment for training camp and or preseason. I think it's going to be hard for him to overtake Mason Rudolph, only because we know how to the Steelers typically do their depth chart. A lot of times it's seniority. So Mason Rudolph probably automatically is the number 2 as it stands today. So we'll see. Let me read one more that we haven't read tonight. How about, I like how you spelled this, but I think it's supposed to be Edgar Alcocer. Alcocer? Did I say that correctly? But I like how you spelled Edgar there. That's unique. He says, Tomlin also nearly took Rudolph and Hodges on a playoff run when Juju, Connor, and Tuitt were all on and off the field with injuries that year. That's what I'm saying, man. Listen, are there criticisms of Mike Tomlin? Yes. You guys know my biggest 2. A lot of it is some of you guys' biggest 2 as well. But I don't think we can have the conversation anymore about saying he's not a good coach. I think you got to take that off the table. However you feel about his playoff winning percentage, that's different. That's debatable. But I just can't stand to hear fans say he's not a good coach. That is just not a fact, because is no way you can have the success that you've had without being a good coach. Now, is he a great coach in your mind? Maybe not. Are there woes that he has that you don't like? Sure there are. And I'm not arguing that. Like I said, you look at the playoff record, you could kind of say, yeah. I just defend against people saying that the man is not a good coach. How do you come to that conclusion? I couldn't go out there. I couldn't have coached the Steelers the last 16 years and my winning percentage be the highest in Steelers history. I'm pretty sure I couldn't. So come on, man. Y'all got to cut that part out. But all right, man, let me get out of here, guys. Like I said, I thought this was going to be a pre-recorded show, but because of the Miss Elsa, this storm, she has definitely rerouted Our plans, for you guys that don't know, we're traveling down to Florida for my wife's father. His family lives there. We're going to, spend some time with them. We're going to stay down there a few weeks since we both have the ability to work from home. He has a pool, so we're going to be chilling. So some of the shows you guys might see, you're not going to see this in the background. It's probably just going to be whatever is behind me. Sometimes I might sit beside his pool and do it, but it'll be a little different. Probably won't have music playing, but we'll make it work. It'll be a few weeks, and then I'll be back here definitely, the beginning of August. Well, the last couple of days in July is when we'll come back home. So the plan was for us to go down tonight, and oh boy, earlier today. And I'm not looking forward to the drive because it's quite a long ride, but we thought it would be more beneficial for us to have our own car while we're there since we're staying for a few weeks. So depending on what the storm is doing, the plan right now is for us to leave on Thursday. So again, more than likely, next week's show will be in a different atmosphere. It might possibly be pre-recorded since we're visiting family. I might do the shows early in the day and just post them later. So, so I'm not away from them at this time. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But either way, just want to give you guys that heads up. Outside of that, guys, have a great week. If you are in Florida, if you're in Georgia or the Carolinas or any of those places that could be affected by the storm, do your due diligence, man, and protect yourself the best you can. Please do that. Also, boom, right here. If you like what you saw tonight, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Thanks to you guys who did subscribe tonight and you all that donated. And don't forget to cut on your notifications so you know when videos are available. But other than that, you guys be safe. God bless. Good night. And thank you for tuning in to Turbo Towel Tuesday. Peace.